Kalimera, Kalispera, whatever time you're watching, this is Mappa. This isn't the usual. This is Mappa. Because usually Thasso's with me, but as you can see, this is not Thasso. It's a prettier version of Thasso. Prettier version. We're not going to be talking about the Brathlima today. We're not going to be talking about the Ethnic League. We're going to be talking about the K.O.P.A League. And for those of you saying, oh, what is that? What is that? Well, Mr. Mike Pieri is here to talk all about it. My friend, long time no see, man.
How you doing, Stel? You good?
Yeah, kala, man. Mihara, taidia. Idaskala. You?
Yeah, good. We talk often. We live down the road from each other, but we don't see each other enough.
No. I think the last time I saw you, weren't you going for a walk or something? Were you in Enfield Town?
Possibly.
I can't remember. We've been in Enfield Town.
Yeah.
I think I went to the post office to post something, and then you were outside. Or you were working down at the last place.
The
last place, yeah.
Was that long ago? No, it can't be.
Listen, I went for a walk a couple of weeks ago down Hertford Road, and I was like, let me just go see if Mike's home. I thought, better not, just in case.
Should have, no. Hey, we should go to an early morning gym session. We sort of miss each other.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you go a bit earlier than me, I think.
When I do go, I haven't gone for a few weeks. I've currently got a knee injury. 5 in the morning.
That's all right. Well, I'll go that time Saturday. So
yeah,
maybe this Saturday. Anyway. Well, look, we're going to talk about the K.O.P.A League, and I will be honest with you, I don't know much about it. Mm-hmm. The only thing I remember about the K.O.P.A League is going to games with you and Jan and Ban, and we'll be either in the car or on that bloody coach going up to Manchester. And you guys will be talking about tactics and certain players. I'm thinking, what are these guys talking about? These aren't Premier League players. You talk about Omoni and Salamina and Verinya and K.O.P.A and who was that one? Brotherhood? Who are these guys talking about? No, it's the K.O.P.A League. The K.O.P.A League. What's the K.O.P.A League? Listen, then I found out a bit more about it, listening to what you guys had to say, your experiences, etc. And this is what we're going to talk about. The K.O.P.A League. And Mike, we got a comment straight away from George. Looking forward to this. All my childhood Sundays were spent at New River and Market Road. My dad managed it in it for about 15 years.
Oh, wow. Who's his dad? I don't know. George, who's your dad?
George, I think George lives in Waltham Cross or Waltham Abbey, one of the two. Okay. He's an Unorthodoxy fan. Don't hold it against him.
Okay.
Uncles and cousins played in it too. The league meant everything to me.
Wow.
George.
We need a surname, George. We need a surname because there's lots of Georges.
Yeah, hundreds and hundreds. So what was or is, because it's not still going, is it? What was
No, the league a few seasons ago stopped, although we do keep the name alive. We do keep in terms of the community, we do keep the club names alive by having a veterans five-a-side tournament, and we've got one coming up in a couple of weeks' time, and they've been quite successful actually. Keeps the K.O.P.A name going. Great to see old friends, old rivals, and some top players, and just keeps the whole thing alive in that way.
Well, it certainly sounds like a community thing. When I speak to a lot of Cypriots in North London that played football, still play football, they will always talk about the K.O.P.A League and players that they played against and know this one from that one, or they'll go to a wedding, etc., and they'll bump into people that they used to play against. But when did it all start?
Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of a history lesson, and I may have got things a little bit inaccurate, but I'm pretty sure this is a good account of it. So I'm going to take you back to 1957. Now, the oldest known photo of a football team that's made up of Cypriot immigrants that came to England, Britain, was 1957, and it shows 11 players lined up on a pitch in Moscow. They were there to represent. Yeah. It gets better. They are there to. So the actual photo is just before they played the Russian Air Force. And they're there to represent Cyprus in the 6th World Festival of Youth and Students. And that was an international event which drew teams drew tens of thousands of young men and women to the Soviet Union. It was something which I think it might have been Khrushchev tried to promote back then. Now, the team that's there is the team that represented Cyprus was a football team from London, K.O.P.A, so KLN, Cyprus Youth Club. They're the first accepted football team from Cyprus, and the club was formed from the UK Cypriot diaspora. Now, the reason why I mention this photo is I got that photo from my dad, because my dad's in the photo. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yeah. And KLM were formed in, I think, 1953 to provide football for the Cypriot youth in London. But the formalised league for Cypriots did not materialise for a couple of decades later in 1975. So yeah, that photo is quite special. It's got my dad's in there. They're all holding flowers, and they just wanted to play football. They, back then, obviously before social media, mobile phones, internet, technology, whatever, it's trying to keep the community together. People the same language, same beliefs, and that sort of thing. Usually, it's things like church and food, and but this is football that brought these people together. So over the years, teams became, were formed and so on. And it wasn't until 1975 that the K.O.P.A League actually came into existence. And there was lots of talk before that about, we want to set up a league. We've got all these teams that play local games, friendlies. And KLN were obviously the founder members. And there was a famous meeting on St. Valentine's Day, 14th of February, St. Valentine's Day, 1975. And that's really the inception of the K.O.P.A League. And on that day, 24 clubs assembled. 24. I won't name all of them.
The Avengers.
Sorry?
Like the Avengers.
Like the event. They all assembled to make something beautiful. So clubs that, big names like IL, AK, KLN, obviously, Salamina, Omonia London, BAL. There's a team called Tottenham Athletic. Tottenham Athletic later became Anothoses.
Okay.
Geravnos. Get this one. It's I think this is right. AELEYTON. Aelayton.
Oh wow!
Brilliant, brilliant,
amazing,
yeah,
amazing.
Brilliant. Yeah. So so they were the K.O.P.A League, and it was formed. They had a championship, and it went on for over 40 years. Yeah. Yeah.
Flipping hell.
Over the years, 80 different clubs, thousands and thousands of players, and at one point, pretty sure there was 2 divisions, reserve division, a youth division. But the K.O.P.A League was home to some big names, top teams, characters. But the essence of it was to keep, the Cypriot diaspora, the Cypriots, the 74 when refugees came over. Football was a thing that kept them together, brought them together, something to do. Because they didn't have things like YouTube.
Mike, do you know if any of those clubs were linked with their namesakes back in Cyprus?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So, in fact, being obviously, I'm an Omonia fan. I managed Omonia London. I was chairman of Omonia Youth. In order to use the name, they actually asked Omonia Lefkosia if they were able to use their name. So while there's tentative links, and there's links because of friendship, people that knew each other, Cyprus as a people are quite close because there's not that many of us, relatively speaking. So yeah, there were definitely links, and players from the K.O.P.A League went and played in Cyprus.
Well, do you know what? You look at the Barathima and the teams that are there, and you've mentioned quite a lot of them, which we had in the K.O.P.A League. And I'm sitting there thinking, crikey, can you imagine if these relationships had been much, much stronger than what they were? the amount of talent that would have gone back and forth from Cyprus to the UK, and it would have been incredible, absolutely incredible.
I mean, there were some big names that went and played in Cyprus who were from over here. I think two names that really should be mentioned: Gregory Sava from Omonia, Paul Pavlou. Gregory played for Omonia in Cyprus and Olympiacos in Greece, and Pavlou played with Salamina. So they're two notable names that from over here went over there. But there were also other big names that played in the K.O.P.A League that are known to English football fans. So Andy Clark played for Wimbledon. He was at AL. Les Ferdinand, before he made it big, he played over here in the, I can't remember the team now. Aachen, maybe, I can't remember.
Maybe.
Might be Aachen, I'm not sure. Paul Furlong.
Paul Furlong as well.
Yeah. Paul Furlong. Chris Hewton coached K.O.P.A Teams.
All right.
Yeah. Edgar Davids. He made an appearance during his retirement. Sir Jean.
That's after Barnet.
Well after Barnet. Yeah.
Do you think Mr. Glantos had a word?
He made a guest appearance for Drippimeni, and I don't remember it really well, but I've heard it lasted about 12 minutes, something like that. But
what a CV though. Ajax,
Juventus, Holland. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what? That could be
a quiz.
Right, that could be in a quiz. You know when you see online where you've got this list of clubs and then you've got to guess the player, and you just read it. Juventus, Ajax. Where else did he play? He was at Spurs.
He was at Spurs.
There's a few Barnet. But yeah, the Barnet one would give it away. But if you didn't mention Barnet, can you imagine? Amazing.
I've got to mention Danny Bailey as well. Danny Bailey, who was it last year before? It was last year. We held a benefit game because Danny has been ill, and Danny Bailey played for years and years and years in the K.O.P.A League. But he played pro at Bournemouth, Torquay, came to Salam, did lots and lots of good stuff with Salamina, and then turned pro again. Played Exeter and I think Reading. I tell you what, he was one of the oldest players that were last year. Played in. I got to play, which was nice for Omonia. Omonia played Salamina down at Haringey Borough, and he was still just brilliant, on the ball. When you're that good, when you've mixed it with top level players, you don't lose it. What you lose is your fitness. But the touch was there. Yeah, so that was nice. That was nice.
Well, didn't John Sitton play there as well?
He definitely coached there. Definitely coached. I'm pretty sure he played, but he definitely coached. Definitely coached there. So yeah, lots of people have gone through. I mean, there's huge amounts of talented players. I mean, I'm from South London, as you know. So when I never actually got to play in the K.O.P.A League, even though I coached and managed in the K.O.P.A League. Mm-hmm. But when I was at uni and I came back, I used to go and train with Cosmos, and Cosmos was one of the two South London teams. Yeah, right. North Londoners hated coming down to South London, right? And I used to train with Cosmos, and legendary K.O.P.A player Nick Shagali. He used to be, and he was late 30s, early 40s back then, and he was still one of the fittest players, and he's one of the legendary names of the K.O.P.A League as well.
Yeah,
loads of people I could mention who are friends as well. Become friends over the years. Who played for. Obviously, I'm an Omonia man, so I'll talk about Tony Philippou, Andy Sava, Cipriano, lots of these big names who then went on and helped in the youth football. Because when they stopped playing or they got older and they had children, well, where are we going to send our children? So that's from that. Then you got the youth teams, obviously notably Omonia Youth.
Excellent. Well, George has got one here. Nicholas Banayi. He managed K.O.P.A, Aeklannaga.
Oh, yes.
And Concord, Omonia.
Yeah.
AKA Nick the Dog.
Yes. Oh, that reminds me, actually, talking about South London, probably one of the best coaches I'd ever been around. Obviously, I never played at high level or anything. Was Nicky Milo, the late Nicky Milo, and he was at Chelsea, Fulham, Millwall for a long time, and he used to coach Cosmos in the evenings, like a couple of nights a week, and he was brilliant. He was fantastic. You know, his sessions were fantastic. So yeah, we had some good times back then. It was good times.
Yeah. They're all coming now. Hello, Pedro. George says, I think Salamina's K.O.P.A League days, they used to be invited over for trials in the summer.
Okay. Was it? I think in Salamina.
Maybe Salamina in Cyprus, maybe.
Yeah. Listen, no surprise. Yeah, no surprise. Lots of, listen, there was lots of talent in the K.O.P.A League. The K.O.P.A mixed team were a top team. When they put teams together for a team together from all the top teams, from the top players, using the top players, they used to win the interleague title. 2-3 seasons on the bounce regularly. Teams from the K.O.P.A League used to win the LFA, the London Football Association Cups, and probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, success was it 2016? When Salamina won the FA Sunday Cup, which crowned them as the best Sunday League team in the country. They played down in Crystal Palace.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was that was stunning. That was incredible.
Look at this lineage, mate. The football historian of K.O.P.A League. Let's go.
And I don't know the half of it or a little. This is just bits of it. There are so many people in the community who know so much more. So maybe we can get them on the pod.
Well, this is something that we need to be touching on because Goodley's in Cyprus. He says, so K.O.P.A is a mini community league by UK Cypriots. It's disbanded now, but it was huge. You said it started in 75.
Yeah.
1975. Yeah. Long time ago. Didn't know Mike was from South. He is. He's from your neck of the woods. Your neck of the woods.
Come on, yeah.
Don't worry.
Elephant and Castle, whoa.
Doek was a nightmare to play in South London.
Doek were the first, the original South London club before Cosmos started. Yeah.
Nice.
That's right.
Thasso looks different today. Teddy P, you've been eating too many chocolate orange. Too many chocolate oranges. The Terry stuff is getting to you, mate. It's getting to you. So, Mike, I think you touched on it before, but where were these games played? Obviously, there are loads of pitches in the UK or in London especially, but do you remember any specific?
Yeah, I mean the traditional venues were Broomfield Park. Mm-hmm. That's the traditional home of Omonia London, but teams used to play there. Market Road, New River, as it was known then.
New River Sports. Come on.
And if in terms of, do you remember Enfield FC Starlight Rooms?
Yes.
Yeah, they used to play there as well. Cup finals used to be played in different stadiums, sort of non-league stadiums.
What? They played the Potters Bar as well.
Potters Bar. Yes, Cheshunt, Finchley, but various venues in South London, just to keep the North Londoners guessing. How are we going to get down there?
Haringey Borough, was it the stadium there?
In more recent years, yes. Salamina played there when they, in their recent years, they were there. Yeah.
Teddy says I saw a photo of Jack Wilshere wearing Salamina's kit. Do you know you know about this one, don't you?
I do.
Go on.
Well, okay, so since K.O.P.A, when K.O.P.A, I don't want to use the word demise, but K.O.P.A's no more in terms of an actual league. So a lot of these teams then went into the Barnet Sunday League, who I'm co-vice chair now. I'm co-vice chair this season of the Barnet Sunday League. And Salamina have come into the league, and there were strong rumours that Jack was actually going to play last week. However, from what I've been told is that he didn't actually get international clearance because his previous club that he was attached to was a foreign team, so that clearance didn't come through, and that was before he got the Luton job. So, I mean, it did turn out for them in a friendly, pre-season friendly, earlier, over the summer, but yeah. So the rumours were.
His wife is Cypriot, is she? His wife is Cypriot, no?
Yeah.
Wife is Cypriot. Yeah. There you go. One of us. One of us. So, right, we've done a lot of talking. Well, you know, I've asked a lot of I've asked a lot of questions. But in terms of the K.O.P.A legends,
Yes.
the big names, what ones can you reel off, like, off the top of your head, and also what made them so important to not only the league but the community as a whole?
Okay, I think you could sort of split this because K.O.P.A went on for so long. You can almost draw a line between those who played and those who end up managing or being involved in the clubs. I mean, I reeled off quite a few players there. I think one name I didn't mention. I'm trying to remember his first name now. Surname Kyriakos Goureas, and he played for Salamina in Cyprus, and he actually played for the Cyprus national team as well. I think, if I'm right, and I need to check this, if I've read it, if I read this correctly, in just doing a little bit of digging, he played in the game where Malcolm McDonald scored 5 goals against Cyprus at Wembley.
Okay.
I think that was Kyriakos Goureas. And he ended up managing Salamina and Anothos's, the K.O.P.A League rep sides. Those are the kind of names. I mean, there's so many to mention. I wouldn't want to mention any more, really, in case I miss people and I don't want to offend anyone, because anyone who watches this might.
You didn't mention me, Mike. You didn't mention me, Mike.
We'll probably get offended if I don't. But I think it'll be wrong not to mention one person who is probably the authority on K.O.P.A League, and that's Miko, friend Miko Chrysostomou, who a few years ago put together a book on the history and detailing lots of these players and the teams. And
really?
Miko's still around. When I've sometimes refereed youth games, I've refereed his grandson. His grandson's a good player, centre forward. So he is the authority. And there are lots and lots of people in the community. I'll tell you what's good.
Time out.
Yeah,
Pause.
Got in.
He wrote a book about.
So it's not like a book in a traditional sense. It's more like, I would say, a book in the dinner and dance tradition. A book.
Yeah, can you buy it online or
no? I think there's still some copies knocking about.
Rebelle, I need to get a copy of these or one.
Yeah, I'll get you one. I'll get one.
Amazing, thank you. Yeah, that's superb. Right, comments still coming. This is wild. We don't get that many interactions when we do it. Right, okay. Yanni in Cyprus. Why did this K.O.P.A Cup stop? Well, the K.O.P.A League. Why did it stop, Mike?
Right. I mean, you asked me this question. You asked me to, prep me with what, that was one of the questions you prepped me with. And I think the answer to answer that question would be maybe for another show.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. Maybe for another show. There's lots and lots of things. People haven't really nailed down why. There are opinions. But towards the end, unfortunately, it became one division of 6 and 7 teams. And there were 3 teams at the top, and the others were just essentially, you had teams that were going that would go hell for leather to win the league, win the trophies, did what they could, try and get the best players from around. While there are teams in the traditional sense just wanted to play football, and that just didn't work in one division. And unfortunately, there were other options. I mentioned the Barnet Sunday League. There were other options, and teams started going there. And effectively, that's what happened. But the why is probably a deeper issue.
Right, fair enough.
Maybe for a book in itself.
Politricks.
Sorry?
Politricks.
Absolutely.
Politricks.
Yeah.
Okay. Teddy P is on one tonight. He's had this sugar rush. Probably his Gabriel wife told him not to even think about it. I'm sure Jack can make his own decisions. Teddy, honestly, man, flipping out. Right, George. Nikos Vrahimi, my uncle, played for K.O.P.A, AEK and Pangiprios in the K.O.P.A League and got signed up by Anorthosi and played for a brief time. My cousins Theo and Chris
Prokobil, yeah.
Played over 500 games. George, you need to come on this pod, man.
Yeah, George knows his stuff.
Malaga, I'll tell you, I'm going to
George, have we crossed paths? Have we crossed paths, George? We must have, surely.
I'm going to put the link here. If anyone wants to come on and talk, it's there. It's there. Feel free to join us. Right, John! Oh, my goodness.
There we go.
One for you, Mike. Has the end of K.O.P.A reflective of the decline of the Greek Cypriot community in the UK? Was the decline down to imported Cypriot politics into the board?
John, that's a loaded question. John, I think you know the answer slightly know the answer to that. But I'll tell you what, I spent...
He's just hitting it back to him.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I spent 3 meetings being on the K.O.P.A committee, and that was enough for me. And you know I don't mind being in a committee. But yes, I spent 3 meetings worth, and imported. Oh, I love that the phraseology there. Listen, politics played a massive part in the K.O.P.A League, whether it was football politics, whether it was politics, whether it was friendships, whether it was my team's better than your team. Lots and lots of egos, arrogance, friendships. Name any human trait, and the K.O.P.A League had it.
Mate, I was hearing stories from people. Again, I don't know names. I don't know the teams. So I'm listening to these things, and I'm hearing this team bought a lad a flat or something so he could play for them. Well, you hear these guvendes, and sometimes you think it's just paramithkia, but there's no smoke without fire when it comes out. Listen, if it's anything like the Brathrima, a lot of this doesn't make sense, but it does at the same time.
Listen, Sunday League football under the London FA rules, it's amateur. So you can't get paid for playing amateur football. But I've heard of players being given £50 cab fares when the game was at Broomfield Park and they lived in Southgate. For example.
For those who don't know, Broomfield Park is here, Southgate is there.
And this was back in 1993.
It's like walking from I don't know, club basement in Limassol to Galatex.
There you go.
That's the distance.
Yeah, there you go.
You in that.
I mean, there's loads and loads of these stories. I remember when I was managing one of the teams, when I was manager of Ammonia London, and we played a team, and top team, really good team, and they had a couple of players on the bench who couldn't get a game because this other team had really top players, really good team. And I knew one of them, and I said, "Listen, if you're not getting game time, come and play for us." And he goes, "Well, how much are you going to pay me?" I went, "Pay you? No, we're not in that era anymore. We're not paying anyone." He goes, "I'd rather sit on the bench then." Good player he was as well, really good player. But
Mike, I've got another question which I didn't prepare you for, to be honest. I'm pretty sure you can answer this. No, it's nothing deep, but when you see the amount of British Cypriots that are now plying their trade at, say, Luton Town or Coventry City in their academies, how much of a difference would it have made if the K.O.P.A League had continued? And I'm asking in the sense of when you look at the young Cypriots that perhaps don't have opportunities to play for, your Chelseas or your Fulhams or whatever. I know a few. I mean, we know one guy that's a coach. I don't want to say his name because I don't want to chuck it in there. But he coaches a Cypriot team in London, and he's got some players that used to play for Premier League academies, and they kind of fell out of love with the game. He took them under his wing, took them to this club, and they're soaring at the moment. So, do you think that's the continuation of the K.O.P.A League? Had it not disbanded, we probably might see a lot more British Cypriots having the opportunity to showcase their talent and then possibly get a move to Cyprus to play out there?
I think that's a difficult question because I think football has moved on from. So when you consider where K.O.P.A started, so you're talking 1975, and and where we are now. I mean, for K.O.P.A, whether K.O.P.A is here or not, even if we're talking about it in the last decade, whether K.O.P.A was there or not, I think good young footballers, there's more opportunity to be seen, and therefore there's more opportunity for them to end up at academies. So I don't think K.O.P.A not being here has, at the moment, is stopping young Cypriots in our community from making it. So yeah, I would probably say it doesn't matter anymore. Not these days. If you're talking 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and you're seeing this mixed Sunday league team from a league, mixed league team playing against the other best league teams, and you're seeing younger players doing really well, or just players doing really well. That's when the opportunity can arise, or did arise, for these players to go and play in Cyprus and non-league and further. But in this day and age, very few good players slip through the pro rank, the pros' hands. And we've got to be fair with that. We've got to be honest with that. Gone are the days where you'd see a scout at Sunday league youth games. You still get them. I've seen them, met them, know them. Where they might unearth the next gem, but it's rare now. It's rare. Football clubs now are very well connected with schools, with football clubs, youth football clubs, and they know the lay of the land. They know where the players are. Very few players slip through.
So tell me something. When you're talking about players that have played in the K.O.P.A League, you mentioned your Les Ferdinands, etc., etc. Were there any rules in terms of non-Cypriots?
Yeah. So K.O.P.A always had this. Now it was always a gentleman's agreement, because the clubs could never be enforced. Yeah, because obviously you can't say, oh, you can't have more than 3 non-Cypriots in your team, because obviously in the society we live in, even back in 1975, and obviously much more recently, that can never be enforced, which did cause arguments, did cause disagreements and debates. It just reminded me, infamously, I remember a player who wanted to come and play for one of the teams that I managed, and he came and brought me a copy of his passport.
Okay.
It wasn't a proper photocopy. His surname wasn't Baba Filippo, and I looked at him, looked at the name, thinking, no, that's not happening. But it was these sorts of things that did happen. It did happen. So yeah, the K.O.P.A League did have a rule, a gentleman's agreement, where you could only play 3 non-Cypriots, and that's where you got the really top players coming in. Your Danny Baileys, your Kenny Dyers, these sorts of players in the past, and it got more and more difficult to maintain that. Got more and more difficult, and there were I think at the end it was 5 in the last season, last couple of seasons. It was 5. So there was majority that was Cypriots, but then what's a Cypriot is there was at one point a debate: should Turkish Cypriots be classed as Cypriot? Well, yes, because they're from Cyprus. Well, what about Turks and Greeks? Okay, then you got Armenians, and then you got Maronites, and so on. So you had these sorts of debates that the K.O.P.A committees at various meetings had to decide on.
Hold on, didn't the Maronides have their own team?
They did have their own team. Yeah, they did have their own team. So that was a bona fide team, and the Armenians as well. They had their own team as well.
So what was it, like a Athletic Bilbao kind of situation where they're only going to play Maronites?
I think that was the case. I think that was the case. Yeah, as well as their 3 non-Cypriots. And
then I remember having there was the Brotherhood as well, and they had a community centre in Finchley. They still do?
Yes. That community centre's still there. That's the oldest community centre in the Cypriot community centre in the country.
Really? Older than Wood Green?
Yeah. That was before. Yeah. That was old. That was before that. Yeah, that was I coached and managed Brotherhood for a time as well. Lovely time that was. That was really good. In fact, one of my players and you know him, Dougie. We now both referee in the Barnet Sunday League. So he's one of my players. And last season,
Dougie do something else, but we're not going to mention it. Doesn't he do something else?
I
thought that's not him.
So last season, I was the referee in a cup final, and he was my assistant ref. So again, K.O.P.A legacy, you know, and you know what? There was lots and lots of good refs in the K.O.P.A League. Lots and lots of good refs as well.
1 minute you're doing fish bowls in Cyprus, and the next minute you're running up and down the line with a flag.
Yeah, trying to make the right decision so the man in the middle doesn't get it.
I don't think he's watching, so we can say whatever we want. It's going to get back to him somehow.
It will.
You know. Right, do we have a British Cypriot version of K.O.P.A? Well, listen, I don't know if Mike is fully versed on
no, go on then, educate me.
This is Mappa the book is going to have everything about K.O.P.A. Let's just say he is the former president of the Cyprus FA, and he quit before the handcuffs came.
I think we've had a conversation about this off air.
Yeah. He had a lot
I think we've had a conversation.
With Vision and a lot.
There we go.
He's kept his job at UEFA. He's kept his job at UEFA, of course. But there's a 6,000 page document with his name all over it, which is still being investigated. But I don't know. So yeah, I don't know if there is a British Cypriot version of K.O.P.A. There might be. Wouldn't surprise me if there is, but not sure within K.O.P.A. I mean, wasn't big enough or profitable enough.
I wouldn't say so. I mean, listen, when you're in a community and where football's passionate, football's about passion, and when you get passionate people in the community, in our community, talking, fighting for, and sometimes literally fighting on the pitch, and trying to do the best for their club, then accusations do fly. But there was nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Mm. George says, I'm at work, otherwise would have loved to jump on. Question, Mike, did you know back in the day, managers, including my dad, joined the team on the promise from chairman they'd get the rag trade orders?
Listen, there was lots of those deals. Listen, do you know what's good about K.O.P.A? Do you know what's good about K.O.P.A?
Just that alone.
Yeah, but in terms of those things happened. K.O.P.A brought people together, but they weren't just friendships. Things like businesses formed, business partnerships, business deals, marriages, and things like that happened. That's what it brought everyone together.
Brock said pre-game.
Well, yeah. But yes. I mean, I'm trying to remember his name now. The sponsor of Cosmos used to run the travel agency in Green Lanes, which the one was on the corner. I can't remember his name.
It wasn't Cyprus, was it? No.
I can't remember. Anyway, so
was it where Disney was the shop? The shop
further down this way, further down. But anyways, on the corner before Madison Road. But
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, obviously not there anymore. But there was always these. I'll get you good deals on flights to Cyprus. Come play for us.
Okay. Oh my goodness! Someone's going to remind us. I need to message my parents. Remember, because I remember they went there. I remember they went.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people did. Yeah. I'm trying to remember his name. I can't remember his name, but
lots of things. Skever, was it?
Who?
Skever?
No.
Okay. Anyway, it didn't help as well that all the Charlies moved to Aradipo over the years as well. Come on. Did Yanari play for K.O.P.A team? I don't think he did.
I'd have to check. Don't know.
He leaned more towards his Chinese side anyway, didn't he? He didn't. Not that he wasn't in tune with his Cypriot side, but I remember did he choose a Chinese national team?
Don't know.
Anyway. Oh, the Brotherhood in Finchley is not older than Earlham Grove, Mike. Naughty.
Oh, sorry, John. I bow to your. There is something about the Cypriot Brotherhood about being the oldest something. So I'll text you later, John. I'll text you later.
There we go. There we go. Right, now here comes a bit more fun. Do you have any memorable moments? I'm sure you got
memorable moments. I mean, do you know what? Being amongst it all. I mean, as I said, I never got to play, unfortunately. I used to coach. I used to train with Cosmos in South London when I was at university, coming back to London. Then I got a bad knee injury. Listen, I don't think I was ever good enough to play in that league. But I got to coach, got to manage. And as an Omonia fan, being able to manage Omonia London twice, that was a beautiful thing. That was amazing. Training in South London was good with Cosmos. That was good. I've still got friends from back then. And that was good. And that was over a quarter of a century ago. So friendships, the current vets, the five-a-side vets that we do is a wonderful thing. You get all these old boys coming in and playing, and you hear the stories. You listen to about old games and events, and going to Cyprus. Omonia London famously went to Cyprus, I think in, I want to say 1984, and played Omonia Lefkosia at the Magario Stadium. So
we need to find photographs or
I've seen a photo. I can definitely get a photo for that, those things. But here's a funny story. I've just remembered a funny story. If you're talking about favorite moments, it's probably a story, and it's someone that we both know very well. I mean, you know him, his family. So while my friend, he played for a side called Stidlers, right, and they were prone to conceding quite a few goals. And my mate Stuffy, who you know very well, as I said, attributed to this deluge of goals against to their centre-half partnership. Now, one centre-half was called Kiri, the other one was Harry. So every game they used to commit Harry Kiri.
Oh my God. God's sake. So what about famous matches? Because I'm pretty certain there's got to be a handful of games that were just either thrillers, or there must have been Sunday League. There's got to be something.
I mean, I've got my own personal memories, but as I said, true historians who were there from the beginning, people as I mentioned Mikko before, they would know of these big games, and there were big teams in the past like. IL had an amazing team, and I think one year Omonia stopped them winning the league, or it was a cup final. IL, I think, won 26 games on the bounce and were going for the double, and Omonia beat them. Yeah, they were a top team. Omonia themselves won a treble in '98, if I recall. I think it might be '98. As I said, I mentioned it earlier in 2016, Salamina winning the FA Sunday Cup. I mean, loads of Cypriots went to support them down at Crystal Palace. Incredible achievement. So I mean, I've got my personal matches that I recall. So I mean the mixed teams, the mixed teams and the rep teams. I think, and not to the youth. At one point, there was a youth league, and this is another one. I remember my friend was playing. I was obviously in South London when I was a youth, and one of my best friends, Makumbaro, in fact, he played for KLN Youth, and you had to be, I think under 16 or under 18. I can't remember. No, under 16, I think, and I was too old to play. But one of the elders of the club said, "Don't worry, they're not going to check your passport." So they wanted me to play for them because they wanted just another player. They wanted, and anyway. So I sort of played in the K.O.P.A League in the youth, but overage.
Naughty.
I know.
Deduct points now.
Yes.
Deduct points. Take trophies and medals off people. My goodness. Well, my next question was going to be about the community, what the league did for the community, and you obviously mentioned it before, but you're talking about a league that was, as you mentioned, 4 decades old.
Yeah.
So, in terms of what you saw and what you've heard, what else did the league do for not just the Cypriot community, but the community in general? We talk about North London, South London.
Yeah.
As you said, a lot of relationships were forged.
Yeah, friendships, business partnerships. Being football fans, and you and I follow the same teams. We will go to games and see people that we haven't seen for a long time, but football brings us together. Those memories come flooding back. We've talked about, off air just before we came on about, going on trips on coaches and so on and so on. And you mentioned it a bit at the top of the show. It's just those little things where people who maybe haven't seen each other for a decade or couple of decades, but then they might meet in the queue in Sainsbury's and say, didn't you play for? And then there you go. The memories start flooding. So listen, we unfortunately, or fortunately, however way you want to look at it, the era we exist in now, these sorts of relationships are different. They're formed in a different way because of social media, less about actually meeting people physically. I mean, we said it at the beginning of the show. You and I live down the road from each other. We haven't met. We haven't spoken to each other physically, but we text at least once a day to each other. Whereas what K.O.P.A did was that every Sunday you got in its pomp 2 divisions. So anything between 12 and 20 matches being played. And Brookfield Park and New River, they used to get over 200, 300, 400 people for the big games to watch. So that was a community coming together to watch their friends, their business partners, their family playing against each other. You're meeting people. Famously, on Monia London, every game we used to bring goodbets for the players after the game. Do you see what I mean? It's these little things. So it's keeping things that were traditional raffles. Obviously, if you're going to get 200 people at New River, mate, raffles. I will raffle this bottle of whiskey for today. It's true. So we can just raise some money. Dinner and dances. Individual clubs should do dinner and dances. The committee itself, the K.O.P.A committee, you had lots of prominent people in the community. With between clubs as well. So it was a genuine community. And even now, decades after people played, decades after people managed, and we're still meeting up, doing the Vets tournament, one in a couple of weeks' time down at Trent Park, 5-a-side. Come down and have a watch.
I might do that, might do that.
Yeah.
Mike, do you think there's ever a chance of the K.O.P.A League, reforming? Maybe not with the same name, but...
I mean, there's lots of talk about it. I mean, we talk about it often. I mean, there's still a K.O.P.A committee. The K.O.P.A League is still in existence in name, in terms of the London FA, still there. The clubs are still playing. And there's teams that formed out of K.O.P.A, as I said in the Barnet Sunday League. I mean, one of the name I should have mentioned, Steve Sinotti, who played and managed top teams and really successful manager. He's in the Barnet Sunday League. They won the title, the Premier League title, cup, not last season, the season before. So and there's still Cypriots playing in the league. There's still the names are still there. So Salamina have come back. Salamina, Omonia London unfortunately haven't, although the Omonia London name still exists. Omonia Youth are there. They've got 3 teams in there. You've got Trent Park, which lots of Trent Park Vets as well. They've got a Vets team, and some of their players played in the K.O.P.A League before it disbanded. K.O.P.A, who are an original founding member of the K.O.P.A League, and they're in fact I watched them last weekend. They're doing they still hold. K.O.P.A could be a really nice club, in fact, and I will say it, quite happy to say it, one of my favourite teams to ref. Good bunch of lads, good people around them, great committee. and they're still a youthful team. There's that, community ideal and that that original feel about what it's for, and it was always for allowing our community to play football, because football is what we love. And going back to what we started, why the original meeting happened on St. Valentine's Day.
Incredible. It's an incredible story, man. Brilliant. Teddy again, you're not a real Cypriot league if you don't have Gubes and Gayan available for the fans. And George says, well, we had an old man that walked around the pitch shouting £1 Gubes. K.O.P.A League's Cyprus 5-2 win versus Turkey late 90s was a mental game. Again, I don't know anything about this. So
right, that just reminded me. In fact, and I wasn't there, didn't see it, but I've heard about it. Don't know what year. I'm pretty sure it's the 90s when the K.O.P.A League versus the Turkish League. And apparently this was an incredible game. And even though the K.O.P.A League lost, they lost 16-15, 17-16 on penalties. But apparently it was, that game went down in history, folklore, in terms of the intensity, the number of fans. And that just sprung to mind just from people talking to me about it. That's something to remember.
Brilliant. Now from John, the original money manager in London. Go on.
Yeah, Mr. Ganodes. Yep. Was grandmother's. Yeah, wow.
Factory owner in Dalston, communist hardcore girl. On match day, all the women had to help make food for the team.
John, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
There you go. Which is the most successful team in K.O.P.A's history? Right.
So I think I'm right. And I think, I am right. And I should know this, being a former Omonia London manager. I think Omonia have won the most Challenge Cups. I think Salamina have won the most titles. They're more IL. Salamina, I think, won it something like 6 times in 8 years towards the end. But what was nice about the K.O.P.A League was that over those 40 plus years, you had teams that were really good teams. You had rivalries, and they were, they used to win the league 2-3 times in a row, 4 times, and so on. So, I think they're the big names. They're the big names that I recall. And then you had some newcomers come in. I remember when I was managing, was it Brotherhood or Omonia? I think Omonia. Panthea, they were in the league for a really short time, but wow, man, they had some quality footballers, really good players. And I think they won the league twice in 3 years or something like that. And they were a good team. Steve Sinotti, I mentioned him before, very successful manager. And then going back to the old days, as I said, Omonia and Mael and those sorts of teams. No South London win, I don't recall.
Oh well.
Yeah, they used to get nosebleed coming and playing the away games in London, North London.
North London.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I think I look. I don't want to be insensitive and not mention this because, well, look, there was a tragic moment which led to the creation of a club called Pantel FC.
Yes. Can
you tell us more about this?
Okay, so a player for Pantel, Bandelis, if that's his name, isn't it? I think I'm pretty sure. Unfortunately, passed away, and his friends set up a team, they had a committee, and we know quite a lot of the people involved in there, in that club. And they had
he was 21, wasn't he? He was young.
Yeah, he was young, really young. 21. Really, it is a sad story, but they played in his honor, and they played with honor, with honor. And again, that's just one of the things about. I was going to say our community, but it's a community thing where you come together. Football was what they loved. Football was what they wanted to keep. His name alive, and his name, like a legacy. And parents were involved in the committee. I know that. I think I refereed them a couple of games as well. And that's just another story where football in this community brought a group of people together for a reason, and it was an unfortunate, tragic reason, but that's what brought them together.
And didn't his uncle play for Olympiacos in Cyprus? I think his uncle Pedro, wasn't his uncle Pedro that? And then he was player manager in the K.O.P.A League for one team, I think.
I don't know.
Mistaken.
I don't know. You might be right. I don't know.
But they have don't they have like a memorial game every year, or they get together?
Yeah. They get together. They play in his honor. Yeah. So that's still going, from what I understand. Yeah, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. John says, Mike, become the new chairman of K.O.P.A, relaunch it, and it will be a major success. Well, listen,
John, if I had a pound for every time someone mentioned that,
we'll back it.
I'd have a tenner.
Vote Mike. Mike for Prez.
No. It's
President Pieri. Come on. Got a nice ring.
I've already done that admin stuff. I've already done it.
You just can't be bothered with the paperwork. You can't be bothered looking at fake passports, can you?
Well, yeah. I've done it with Omnia Youth. I'm now co-vice chair of the Barnet Sunday League, and yeah, that's that. I think that's enough for me. But I appreciate the sentiment, John. And that's not the first time John said that either.
He's one of your biggest fans.
Yeah. We went to university together, John and I. We were at uni together.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and with Stuffy as well. Okay, the three amigos. Yeah. It all makes sense now.
There you go.
Charlie's Angels. Okay.
There you go.
Bloody hell. Well, crikey, if I was going to say that, it's gone out my head. No, it's gone out my head. Shit. It doesn't matter. What I was going to ask is probably completely irrelevant. Right. So look, the question was asked before in terms of how the K.O.P.A League ended, and we're not going to touch on that because obviously we don't know the full facts. We've heard stories, but what does it mean? What did it mean to you or for you when the league completely ended and disbanded?
I think it was sad because anyone who enjoyed football, anyone who was involved in K.O.P.A, anyone who knew people involved with it, for it to not be there anymore. I mean, you should wake up on Sunday and say, right, let me go and watch a game. That's when I wasn't coaching or whatever. And yeah, it just wasn't there. So it's like a long lost friend that, great memories, wicked times, but we miss you, man.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And actually, no, now I remember what it was.
Go on then.
Weren't some matches streamed on Hellenic's YouTube channel?
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they were. That was done quite often in the last few years. Yeah,
pre-pandemic.
Yeah. I remember when I was assistant coach at Onophos, we had them down there as well, and that was going back about 15 years now. Long time ago, yeah. Yeah. God, that was fun times as well. Yeah.
See, it's all coming back now.
It is. As I said, if you get a group of people who were involved in it, and it happens often. You go to barbecues, or you go to a wedding, or you're down the pub or whatever, and you meet up with some of these people, and you talk about K.O.P.A. There's someone who hear it, someone who get involved. Oh, I remember this and whatever, and they'll start, and that's it. It kicks off. That's the essence of K.O.P.A, that memories, the ability to reminisce around football at a time when it was an important part of the week for the Cypriot community.
Well, it's like I told you the other day over the phone. If anyone would like to jump on and share their memories about the K.O.P.A League, we're gonna introduce This Is K.O.P.A. We're gonna do it. Bring This Is K.O.P.A. Let's do it. This is K.O.P.A. We'll start a podcast all about the K.O.P.A League.
I think it could be quite successful. Let me get hold of Miko, and I say, Miko, got a platform for you, my friend. You can talk until the cows come home, and he will.
There you go. And even George can come on when he's free. Obviously, there used to be a match programs at most games as well with fan interviews, etc. It was a really well run league that was ahead of its time back in the day.
Yes, yeah, George, you're right. You're spot on, George. You're spot on. Yeah, and those magazines are still knocking about. People have still got them. They bring them out, and even when the individual teams had their dinner and dances, those brochures are still there. And all the old photos. I might have one here somewhere, I think, actually. No, they're up. They're in the loft. I've got my bookcase there. It's in the loft. It's in the loft. I thought I might have had an old Ammonia London one.
This is this is Mappa joke. El fútbol de Copa es un carnaval. Yes, if you watch the podcast, you know what he's talking about. Oh, crying out loud. That's all. That's all. Like those match day programs you're talking about, are they like Pokemons? You got to catch them all.
You won't be able to catch them all anymore because they've been binned and whatever. But there's some flying about. This people have kept them. People have kept them mementos. People because but it's not like now where it's quite easy to see yourself publish, whether it's a photo or social media or whatever. Back then, to see you in a team photo or to be mentioned. Yeah, in the local press, the community press, like Barikiaki, Eleftheria later. Yeah, but there was an actual match program for it. It came out, I think it may come out monthly, I think. But yeah, there were magazines that people kept.
That's brilliant. And do you know what it is? I'll be honest with you, man. I've said this time and time again. I'm pretty certain I've said it on air. I don't think our community is as strong as what it should be. Back in the day it was, but now not so much. And I think something like this, K.O.P.A League, would do so much. I know there are a lot of Greek schools in London especially that are struggling in terms of not just for finances, etc., but finding teachers or even students as well.
Yeah, for numbers, yeah.
It's difficult, and I get it. Cost of living, and it is quite pricey to send your kids to Greek school, and it's the traveling as well to and from wherever it is, right? But I just think something like this, bringing back the K.O.P.A League or something very, very similar, would be the first step to, put. Because look, Mike, listen, we've got friends up in Manchester, and the Cypriot community up there is so tight. Birmingham, same thing. Go to various parts of the UK. The Cypriot, we're like this, but in London, maybe I'm completely way off target here, but it seems to me that there isn't that. It's just not there, man. It's just not there. I don't
know. K.O.P.A to come back, I think it'd be really difficult. Because the teams that the teams with a Cypriot background or Cypriot history that are in the Barnet Sunday League, they're all in different divisions. There are some in the same division, but you've got teams where the qualities is there's a chasm between the best and the ones in the lower divisions. So how are you gonna encompass them in a K.O.P.A League? It's just not going to happen to that extent.
Start with new teams. Start from scratch.
Again, okay, so you probably need about £15,000 to run a team for a season.
Okay.
We're talking about pitch fees, referee fees, kit, registration, and so on. But that's just for the teams. The league itself needs to be affiliated, and with the paperwork that goes with that, where the game's going to be played. It's starting from scratch now would be, I think, very, very difficult. The push for it to happen.
If money's a problem, let's get on the phone to John Christodoulou, right? He loves football. Okay, he's obviously had an interest in money in the past, maybe not so much now. But let's just say to him, hang about, come on, you can start your own league. This whole league. You won't have to worry about one club. You can worry about 20, 30 clubs.
I think it's a romantic notion, and I think that the best of K.O.P.A is in the past, in my humble opinion. And I hope I'm wrong, but I think it'll be very, very difficult to get those teams back, those personalities back, and to start from scratch. Yeah, I don't think there's the motivation for it, the desire. Whereas back in the 50s and 60s, when these clubs were starting, it was to keep the community together, to do something at the weekends, to play football, which is what they loved. Then you had those 20 odd teams deciding to start a league, and it was very, very strong for a good 4 decades, and then started to drift down. Once it went to one division, and there was, I think, at one point 8 teams. Unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult to bring it back, in my opinion. But hope springs eternal. Could be a new generation. Could be new money, as you said. But I think it'll be very difficult.
Well, you never know.
Which is a shame.
You never say never. You
Absolutely.
Never say never.
Absolutely. But listen, the K.O.P.A League, the K.O.P.A name continues, as I said, with this, I mentioned it a few times, with the five-a-side tournament, and maybe something can spring from that. I mean, we still have meetings as a committee, as K.O.P.A. We still have meetings, and we have meetings about how we can progress the name. Will it ever come back to it? And things like that. There's still lots of good people involved who want it to happen. But listen, as every year ticks by, it's going to get harder and harder and harder. And the baton will have to be passed on to another generation. And it may be a generation that doesn't know what K.O.P.A was. And that's where those historic ties will break for good.
Fair. Although, is there a chance that if more Cypriot teams become successful in Europe, like we've seen AEK in Omonia in Europe, Bafo obviously, in Upwell in the past.
Yeah.
If we're getting more and more Cypriot teams in European football, boosting the exposure of, because look, let's get it right. Not many Gibrei in London know about Cypriot clubs.
No,
okay?
They don't.
I've got friends that support Anorthosis, but they can't tell you 5 players.
The goalkeeper's name, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But if our teams are doing better in Europe, then surely people out here will pay more attention, because the stigma of they're playing in Khorafka. Okay, if you've seen the Lasagi, then whatever. But,
so you never played at Broomfield Park, mate.
but this is what I'm saying. So is there a chance that if our teams are doing better in Europe and having that exposure and maybe doing or getting some shock results or good results, will kind of light a small fire and then it will turn into a wildfire?
As I said, it's got to be a newer, younger generation. And is the newer, younger generation of 3rd, 4th, even 5th Cypriot generations, London Cypriots or British Cypriots, would they care enough? That's the key point. Do they care enough? And unfortunately, I don't think they do. There's not enough, and there's so many more distractions now.
Well, look, I'll chuck this in there.
So many different options.
I chuck this in there, right?
Go on then.
Maybe our teams in Cyprus, like Apollon, like Anorthosis, okay, they've got their Gado de Gagna and all their other youth teams. Why don't they create a team for a new league, a Cypriot league? Why don't they do that? They can do that. Apollon are certainly doing well with their under-19s. Bafo are doing well with their under-19s, albeit a lot of their players, most of their players are foreign. What if like Bafo created a Bafo London, Anorthosis London, AEL London, AEK London? Can you imagine if the Cypriot teams created their own teams in a league in London?
Yeah, I mean, I used the word romantic earlier, and this is on another level where you'd get the professional clubs in Cyprus having their own, whether it's youth teams or teams in London. I mean, just the logistics of it just wouldn't make sense at the moment. Just wouldn't. Where they're going to be set up? You're going to have a professional club playing where? Whether you're going to have their youngsters playing at school play on a school astro pitch, it wouldn't fit with their ego or their image. So, yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful idea.
It wouldn't have to be a pro team. I said it wouldn't have to be a pro team. It would just be something for the community. Something
for Apollon and Anorthosis,
whoever. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they well, listen, Buffalo. Okay, look at Ayanaba, second division team. They've got a collaboration with Torino.
Yeah.
Right? Bayek, second division, got a collaboration with a subsidiary of FC Porto.
Yeah, but okay, but they're both there, but they're all professional football clubs. We're talking here about we're talking. Okay, in a loose term, okay, loosely.
But my point is, right, but my suggestion is, if Buffalo, like with their money, they say, right, we know that there's a Cypriot community, why don't we create a Buffalo London, for example, semi-pro or amateur, whatever it is, right? But we will provide kits, we'll provide, they can even rent the facilities or whatever it is that needs to be done. And listen, Mr. Dubov is a smart guy because he was born in the UK, if I'm not mistaken, and he used to own Portsmouth. So he knows, he's mates with Steve Parish. Yeah. So there is something there. Obviously, Jason Punchin has been involved at the club in the past. There's so much potential, man. Julian Gray, who's a coach at Birmingham, played for Salamina.
Yes. I mean, if it's going to happen, it would have to, the seeds would have to be at youth football. It'd have to be youth football. Yeah. Where, let's say, obviously, the two big youth clubs in the country, in London, are Omonia Youth and Salamina. Between, I think, over 40 clubs now, 40 teams, different ages. So if you bring a Buffer over or an Othos over to do the same, then you could start that. But there's already leagues for these teams, and they're not a K.O.P.A League. They're playing against them, other teams, from other communities, football clubs with their own history. So,
well, that's how the new K.O.P.A League can pitch it to them. We're a British Cypriot league. We want you guys to come on board with us. It's that simple. It really is that simple. I say it's that simple. Anyway, Teddy P asked, does Panathinaiko have a team in K.O.P.A? I saw some YouTube videos about Panathinaiko in London.
They used to, yes, they did. They used to. Yes.
Yeah. Official still is starting a Garmiodisa Gado for London. Listen, if I were to create a Garmiodisa, it has to be the same as Garmiodisa in Cyprus, which means 7 head coaches every year. they brought in a head coach. They're second division now. They brought in a head coach in the summer. They've played 4 games, won 3, drawn 1, and they sacked the coach. This is Cyprus. But hey. Anyway, Mike, is there anything else that we haven't mentioned or discussed that you want to? Okay, what about favorite goals? Have you seen any worldies?
Oh,
don't tell me Dougie has done one.
Dougie could hit a shot. Tell you that.
What about Parsons? Alex, did he play? He played in.
Yeah. I mean, I was his assistant at Anorthosis when he was player manager.
He was a player.
Yeah, he was very quick.
He was a player.
Yeah. He was a good player.
What about Jason? Did Jason Plesey play there? Did Plesey play?
Yes. Jason played. Yes. I'll tell you one I'll tell you one I remember. It was a cup game, and Tony Philippou, who used to play for Omonia in the 90s, part of the great Omonia team I think he was in the treble team. I'm pretty sure. Definitely won in the Challenge Cup and whatever. And he came back and played and managed the team. And I used to go and watch them. It was a time when I used to manage them and then didn't. It was a cup game and he came on. I think he might have been in his late 40s at the time. And he smacked this shot from the edge of the box. Last minute or so, won the game. Things like that. This is a legend of the K.O.P.A. He's a good friend. His son's played in the K.O.P.A League, and he comes on and says, I'm going to show you how to do it. And he did. And he did. That's just one example. But I'm sure other people could have got their own memories.
It's times like this where you wish that they did have video cameras and all that.
Absolutely.
Camera phones. Some of the goals that you'd have seen, and but some of the tough guys as well. It would have been interesting.
Yeah. The refs had it hard, I'll tell you that. The refs had it hard.
Every week I'd be hearing about a referee that.
Yeah, the refs had it hard.
Flipping out. Anyway, Mike, listen, thank you so much for doing this, man. And hopefully we can get more people on board. And I'm just here to ask questions and listen. Like I said, I didn't I wasn't involved in it, unfortunately. I wasn't keen on it. I didn't know too much about it, but I couldn't play, to be fair, either. So I'm not going to pretend I could. Not at that level. Fuck that.
Yeah.
But no, it's been great.
I just want to say to anyone who does listen back to this, anyone who was in K.O.P.A, played for K.O.P.A, interested in K.O.P.A, if I've missed out on anything, please let us know. I'm no authority on it. I was just involved, and obviously I know Stel, and you know I do like my history and stuff like that, and you know I love our community. But I'm sure there's lots and lots and lots that I missed. Lots of things that could be added to something like this, and I think Stel's this is Mappa stroke K.O.P.A could be a goer. So come on, you K.O.P.A-des. If you're interested, get in contact and let's get this movement going.
100%. Why not?
Let's do it.
Lovely. Well, Mike, thank you again.
No problem, mate.
Me, man. It's absolute pleasure having you back on the show. And I need to get you on for the match reviews now with me and Thasso.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
They go off. They go
off.
Anyway, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in. Everyone for commenting. George, you need to come on as well, mates. I'm still waiting for George to make his appearance. So, yeah, thank you for tuning in, boys and girls. Don't forget to give us a follow on Instagram and X at This Is Mappa. Mike's Instagram is in the bio. It's in the bio. And also, we're writing a book. It's called the Book of Mappa. We're selling chapters 1 to 3. It's only $3. Okay, it's on the Patreon. Also, link below. 185 pages for 3 chapters. We're on chapter 9 at the moment. Okay, so this isn't going to be a book. It's going to be an encyclopedia. What is it going to be, Mike? If it's like over 2,000 pages,
is it an infinity? Is it an infinity book? You're just going to carry on forever?
Yeah, like Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond.
There we go.
Anyway,
there we go.
I get a Woody just thinking about it. Hi there. Goodbye, boys and girls.